I bet everybody's just trying to figure out what session to go to, how do they get in, all the things. So my name is Leanne. Hello, good morning. I say Leanne, and yes, you can. Yes, you can. And I would like to introduce our two panelists this morning, Lauren Beane and Andi Kang. And I'm going to share a little bit with you about who they are. Although it's in the bio, we need to know who they are as we enter in this morning. So first I would like to introduce Lauren. She is an experienced digital marketer that believes in the power of a good story. And all of that starts with social media. After working years in marketing for a large corporation, Lauren has learned the ins and outs of effective social media profile. Combining that with her passion for professional development, she is on a mission to empower others to tell their compelling stories through their own profiles. Andi, on the other hand, is a wealth manager. She specializes in working with business owners, philanthropies, and special needs families to make informed decisions about their wealth. She is passionate about being a trusted advisor to her clients who have been blessed with significant financial capacity to help them live abundantly, give graciously, and our company tagline. It is her heart's desire to work alongside to discover the true meaning of wealth while they share the fruits of their abundance with their family, neighbors, and community at large. Give it up with some sparkle fingers for Lauren and Andi. Woo woo! Okay, I'm going to add in Nancy Freelander. And I think I can add one more. So, where do we start in this virtual world? Well, here we are right now doing a virtual conference, navigating through the social media. And we are so blessed to be able to have Lauren and Andi. Lauren and Andi, do you want to just dive in and start sharing how you had to pivot in this virtual new world?
Sure. Okay, I'll get started. As you know, I am a financial planner, but I am also a strength coach. Let me start with a couple of quotes. I think all of us would agree that COVID, it can be a crisis. Albert Einstein said, in the midst of every crisis lies great opportunity. John F. Kennedy is quoted as saying, the Chinese use two brushstrokes to write the word crisis. One brushstroke stands for danger, the other for opportunity. In a crisis, be aware of the danger, but recognize the opportunity. On our personal computers, the reset button clears our memory. Sometimes
Is the moderator still on?
Yes, the moderator is still on.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Mark, we can hear you.
You can hear me. If the moderator is still on, send a message to Jared Tanimoto to get on and help you with whatever you need. He's taking care of all the technical issues.
Are we having a technical issue right now?
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'm going to keep on going.
Thank you.
All right. So basically, our reset button clears our memory and reboots our machine. And most of our computers, it goes back to the default settings so we can start afresh. So I've been asking myself, what does it mean to reset? So I've decided that the reset button is my personal empowerment button. And it's accessible and available anytime I desire change and I want to go back to that default setting. But full disclosure, I am extremely tech challenged. I have to figure out where the settings are to reset. So when it comes to anything technology, it automatically.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Speaking of technology.
I was gonna say, she said she was tech challenged, so.
Okay. She'll be
She
back.
hit the reset button. She's coming back.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay, she'll be back. She'll be back. Does anybody feel that way about technology? Does anybody feel that they're not so good at it, or they're challenged, or it's been difficult in this season to be flexible? Like learning a new language.
I think that that's sort of the beauty of this pandemic, is that it's put us all on even keel in that respect.
I never thought I would hear the word pandemic and beauty in the same line, but glass is a half full.
I just sent a message to Jared.
Thank you.
I think it's been challenging, but I know me personally, it's made me grow as far as technology is concerned. I'm not scared of it, but I've definitely had to learn new things, and it's kind of pushed me to do that, and I'm grateful for it.
Right. It definitely,
Yep.
at the beginning, it's scary. And then their reality has to sit in that this is the new way to communicate. It's not the only way to communicate, but it is a huge way to communicate. Lauren, what would you say about that?
It's definitely relating to the theme of flexibility. It has made us all a lot more flexible and understanding of, I think when it comes to virtual settings and tech, a year and a half ago, we expected things to be a lot more polished and error-free. And this year has taught us that we need to be flexible. We don't always have to have the most polished background. People walking in the back, like all this stuff can happen, and that it's just all about being able to adapt on the fly. And tech is our best friend, but it will not always work. And learning how to adjust when things don't go right. And it's definitely like a big theme that we've seen in the past year.
And
One of the things I've noticed in some of my groups is that now they're trying to do the opposite of what you said, Lauren, and they're trying to establish these protocols for Zooming, and you have to be perfect and all this stuff. I'm not doing it.
I don't have time for that.
It's just right? Exactly.
Well, I think that if any session is going to have this problem, this is the appropriate session to have that problem.
Yeah.
I just sent a second message to Jared through his personal email. He'll hopefully get on and help.
The reason she hasn't, you just go back into your session and click on it and find us. Didn't somebody else
Let me
leave and
send
then
one to
come back?
Mara too.
She may have been off completely and has to completely log back into the conference and then
Moderator?
into the session.
Okay.
I did.
Oh, you had to log completely back in. Okay. Has anybody used this platform before?
Mm-mm.
No.
So
Nope.
this was all a new platform for us.
Yep.
What is this platform called?
Hop in.
Hop in. But it's
in.
part of, but it must be under the umbrella of Eventbrite. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm sort of fascinated. I'm retired now, but when I was working, conferences was one of many things I did. So this is pretty elaborate. I was really sort of fascinated to see how this is working.
All right, let me, I'm here representing the Financial Planning Association, which is sponsoring, one of the sponsors of this event. So maybe we should get started with everybody participating. until such time as the moderator could get back on and take over. Hopefully that's soon.
I am the moderator.
I think
I don't think, can you hear us, Mark?
I'm the moderator.
Yeah,
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
we have a moderator.
Yes. I'm the moderator.
Is she
Lauren's
there?
a panelist, and
Yeah.
we're waiting for Andi to get back on. So as far as I'm concerned, we've already started. We're just
Hello?
waiting for Andi.
I don't hear her.
We can hear her.
Oh, then I can't hear her. Okay, so let her take over.
Thank you. Well, does anybody have any questions or comments for Lauren about how she navigated through business, or does anybody have any thoughts they would like to share?
I would be interested in hearing more of her thoughts. This year, I've been more engaged on the user side. So yes, I've had to learn a lot. I mean, I have led meetings, and I had to really change and adjust in just running meetings. That was a whole new game for me. But I would still consider myself more on the user end versus a driver. Like if you're really having to drive your business, and like setting up this conference, for example, structurally, and making those changes. So I'd be really interested to hear what did that mean on a big picture and day to day for you.
As far as switching to virtual events, or what do you mean by that?
Well, right. Yes. Switching to virtual, and then being like, if I'm assuming if you're having to drive that, like versus I've attended many things as a virtual participant, and I have run meetings, but that's still pretty much just setting up a Zoom versus if you're really trying to switch your business and maintain clients and so forth. I think that's a whole different ball game.
Yeah. So at least from my perspective, it's been a lot more challenging, but also rewarding in the sense that, by day, I'm a digital marketer, but my side hustle is also doing a lot of public speaking. And in a sense, it's opened up a lot of doors to be able to reach people that I haven't been able to reach before, because the only thing that I am relying on is technology and a screen. But the cool thing is it kind of takes down those physical barriers of being limited to just people in my region. So when it comes to working with clients and helping them build their businesses, figuring out how can they best portray themselves on social, because they're reaching a lot more people than they used to. And it's not necessarily of having that just physical location, but how can they expand their reach and reach people maybe across the nation or across the globe in a completely different way. So it's definitely, you have to think about the strategy a lot more, but it's kind of cool to be able to reach a lot more people than you wouldn't have expected.
Yeah, I've
It's
seen
a
that it
little
really does break down those
intimidating.
barriers.
It's a little bit intimidating that you can now reach so far, so quickly.
Yep, for sure. And I think we have Andi back.
Oh,
Do
Andi.
you see me?
No?
No.
Okay, now I do.
But we can hear you.
Okay. Well, as I was saying, even though I am extremely challenged, we have used this situation and embraced this crisis as an incredible opportunity. And last year, 2020, my business grew by 30% because we embraced it as an opportunity. And I wanted to basically share that pushing through our fears and getting to the other side can not only stretch ourselves, but it also stretched our business. And one of the first things that I did was to accept and own my weaknesses and own my fear. And as I was saying earlier, when I hear the words computers, technology, the danger signal just goes up. And but I could recognize it. And we as women who want to be powerful, who want to empower ourselves, who want to stretch ourselves, to elevate ourselves, that's when we get the strongest. And I did one of the things we did was we wanted to make sure that we could take care of our clients, make sure that we met their needs, met their financial planning goals, but at the same time, give them personal service. So we made a list of all the things that we needed to do that had to be virtual. So that was to embrace Zoom, that was to create an online calendar that if they needed an appointment, they could click on that and schedule a time with us. We also had implemented a virtual password protected, encrypted firewall, virus protected cabinet, cloud cabinet, a vault that they could input their information. So we really embraced technology. And my attitude literally has been, if I can do it, you can do it. And if I can't do it, then I will get help. And so if I can push a few buttons and do this, anyone can do it. Because that's how fearful I am when it comes to living in this virtual world. And so I wanted to just give the message that we can all adapt, we can all innovate, and we can all elevate ourselves.
Amen to that. You know, I think it would be really great to maybe hear from each of you what industry you're in. I think I would, you know, I mean, we really are here to connect and, you know, network and build relationships and support each other. And I think one of the things that's also very important as we've had to navigate through this virtual world is to continue building those personal relationships. You know, that's never going to go away. It's one thing to work virtually, but especially probably with some of us in our industry, especially with Andi, you know, she's working with clients, so she's still building those personal relationships, and so that part is really still very significant. So I think it'd be great, like Bonnie and Mary, if you just, you know, just shared with us what your industry is.
Sure. Can you hear me? Okay. So I have two industries. I'm a lawyer and I do estate planning for my private clients, but I'm also in the fundraising industry. I do charitable estate planning for the American Heart Association. I cover about 5 states for them, and I help people that want to give gifts through their estate plans, and I help with their tax planning and work with their advisors. And we actually partner with FPA as well. So it's been really interesting because we've had within the Heart Association a lot of pivoting to do since fundraising is a whole other world right now. I don't really do fundraising per se. You know, my whole job is building personal relationships with people to have them put us in their estate plans and part with millions of dollars and stock and things like that. And so I have found the phone to be my best friend, as it has been for a long time, because I can't meet everybody in 5 states, even when we don't have a pandemic. And so our team, it's so interesting because our charitable estate planning team at the Heart Association has had the best year that we've had in probably 10 years, even though we can't actually meet with people in person. And as you can imagine, we have to create some pretty intimate relationships with people to have them make us heirs of their estates. And so I just think that the phone has been amazing. And the computer, we do Zoom and Teams. And that's been really wonderful as well. But for kind of folks in their 70s, 80s, 90s, phone all the way. Yeah.
The phone. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone. It's like going back to the old school, like when we would talk on the phone, not just sending text messages. Yep. Thank you for sharing, Bonnie. That was so. It's you definitely shared a positive that has come out of your business and ways that you've navigated?
Yeah, it's been a really interesting pivot with our entire team, and our team's all over the country, as you can imagine. And we've had to meet, we used to meet in person once or twice a year. I don't even see my team now. And so we meet virtually as well. And we couldn't meet once a month before. Now we meet once a month. And now for the Heart Association itself, we have speakers. We've always had access to the top researchers in the world and everything, but we can actually have them speak at our conferences, and they're in Dubai, and they're in Egypt, and they're in Russia, and so that's been kind of an incredible development with technology as well, is to have speakers that we've never been able to have before. Yeah.
No geographical limitations anymore. That's for dang sure.
Excuse me while I
Thank
say hi
you,
to my
Dawn.
parents. Sorry.
Of course. What about you, Mary? What's your industry, and what is maybe a takeaway that you could share on how you adapted to the virtual world?
So I'm a business broker, and what that means is I help owners of currently operating and profitable businesses sell those businesses. I typically deal with people who are in their 60s and 70s and aren't necessarily technology or tech savvy. So I'm doing a lot of my work with clients on the phone as opposed to Zoom. But an important part of what I do to find leads is to network. So I've been doing a ton of networking via Zoom meetings, and I hear people complaining about it. They'd rather be in person with people, but honestly, I love it because I'm so grateful that we have this technology and that we can continue to meet. And and I was driving all over town going to networking events, and honestly, I appreciate the convenience of being able to sit in my house and go from meeting to meeting to meeting, and not driving all over town. I do miss being with people physically, but no, I actually pretty much love Zoom.
And I'm in my anybody else in leggings?
Anybody else what?
In leggings.
In leggings.
Oh.
Okay, Catherine's the only other honest person in this.
I'm wearing jeans.
Okay. There is a thing that I saw on Instagram. It was like, do you vote for jeans or leggings or yoga pants? Yeah. Thank you for sharing. And then I can't believe it's already 10:24, so we only have about 6 minutes. I'm assuming that session 2 and 3 are just going to even get better, right? We're going to be more polished, and right, Lauren, we're going to just figure this out. Would love to hear quickly from Catherine, Nancy, and Leslie, and is it Edie? Okay, perfect.
Who first?
So Catherine, what's your industry?
So, I'm rather a jack of all trades. I have multiple illnesses that make it hard for me to work outside of the home. And prior to the pandemic, like Mary said, I was running to all these different groups all over. And now I could just do it from the living room of my own home, which is really a nice change. So like today, even though I have a migraine, I don't have to go running out to Riverside or wherever. I like this. It's really worked out to be a blessing for me.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. And you bring hope to so many other women that are in your position and, dealing with health. I think that is a big open door opportunity for women that are looking for work that really do need to be at home. So thank you for leading by example. Nancy Freelander, which I know we've met somewhere. I know your name.
Really?
Yes.
Well,
We can talk later, but
okay.
I know your name, girl.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I'm retired now. I'll just very briefly, I worked for California State University for 30 years at the chancellor's office in the capital planning, design, and construction area. So on the business side of things, and I did a lot of financials, a lot of writing, a lot of editing. But currently, I'm involved with a couple of organizations here in Long Beach, the Junior League of Long Beach and the Literary Women's Committee. So Literary Women's Committee, we put on an annual conference of female authors. We bring like 7 authors to a conference attended by like 800 people, tip about 99% being women. So of course that event did not come off this year, 2021. In fact, it should have been tomorrow. It would have been tomorrow if that had happened. So we've had to make adjustments in how to maintain the relationships with our guests, our attendees, and so we've been partnering with a brick and mortar bookstore, but also a business that does a lot of business book-related events, and they were always our bookstore at the conference. So we've been doing online conversations with authors that have really been very successful, largely because of this great radio personality named Pamela Appleton, who is our interviewer. So that was one piece, and then in Junior League, I think. Well, back to Literary Women in Junior League, I would just say one of the great benefits of this has been this ability to have people participate that wouldn't otherwise, whether it was timing of getting somewhere from point A to point B because of their work or because they've moved out of the area. And so we've been able to see a lot. I think that's been positive. And then for myself, I think I'm fairly tech savvy, having just more recently retired, but I've had to double down definitely quite a bit. And I think the kindness, being kind to people is very important. I think this was brought up earlier with the technical snafus that take place and how different people are not all on the same plane, the same playing field working with technology. That's been a big takeaway.
Thank you for sharing, Nancy. And yes, I'm very familiar with the Junior League, by the way. So maybe that's it.
Okay.
What about Leslie Boyer?
Yes, Nancy has been a pillar of the Junior League in a lot of ways. I am a stylist with a luxury brand of women's clothing shown by invitation and appointment. And I have been in the industry since 1983. And I have been and still am an active sustainer in the Junior League, 54 years and counting.
Leslie is a force. I'm just going to drop that.
Leslie, didn't you win an award last year at the Women's Symposium, or didn't you have a chance to speak? I remember.
Yes,
you.
the inaugural award. Yes.
Yes, because I remember your outfit was so fabulous.
Well, it had to be, right? You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we're out of time, but I've been a volunteer I live in Orange County, but I have been glued to the Junior League since my mother was a founder in 3 centuries ago. So I'm busy and happy and grateful. And navigating my business has not been a problem because I send invitations and I'm on the phone and I invite people by appointment to come see the clothes one-on-one. So it's only suffered by the fact that people bought stuff last year and they haven't been anyplace. So I'm getting ready for my spring show and it's a challenge, but I'll overcome it. I used to go with my mother when she bought clothes this way, so it's sort of in my blood.
Oh yeah, you got to call it like Zoom wear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean,
I'll use that.
Zoom wear. Yeah. Be like, this is my go from blah to bling this spring. Get your, Zoom wear. Because really, it's a thing. Would you admit? I mean, it's all about how your clothes look from here up. Really, how do you accessorize?
Well, I have. I mean,
how do you put your
in my booking appointments this week? I've been calling and talking about blouses and camisoles. Everybody's got bottoms, and if they don't, I don't want to know about it.
Exactly. Okay. Last but definitely not least, Edie.
Hello, everyone. Can you all hear me? Awesome. So my name is Estelle. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm calling in from Long Beach, aka the Tomberland. I work at a very unique organization called Pathways to Independence. which supports women between ages 18 to 35 who come from backgrounds of adversity, such as domestic violence, sexual abuse, homelessness, addiction, and who don't have the financial or emotional support to transcend their lives through a college education. So we are essentially like this holistic family who comes in, supports them in any way that they need. So for example, if they need housing, we provide housing. If they need transportation to get to therapy, not only do we get them a car to go to therapy, but we pay for their gas to get to therapy, their work, their school. We have a whole team around them, education director, program manager, mentor. It's just a beautiful, like I said, very unique program. In any nonprofit that I've ever worked at, we've had time limits of 6 months to a year. This nonprofit is from the 3 to 5 years it will take them to actually graduate from a university. So thank you so much for learning a little bit about us and having me here. It is a pleasure to meet all you beautiful women, and thank you for the work that you do.
It's a wonderful organization. You know Marty Brown and Carol Lees and
Lisa May.
Maribel Mullery. They were all in on the ground floor. It's a fabulous organization.
Thank you for that shout out, Leslie. It's the most special nonprofit I've ever seen in my whole life. And I know I'm biased, but I'm being honest. It's amazing.
So do you know Lisa
Y'all,
Mays?
I do. I've had the pleasure of working with Lisa. Yes.
Do y'all, as we wrap up, do y'all know if there is a place with every?
Uh-oh.
What? Uh-oh.
Oops.
Punished. She got pulled.
Are these sessions a half hour each and then 10 minutes and then we go to the next?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
So she has 10 minutes.
Don't forget to put your information. Don't forget to put your information in the chat.
Oh,
But has anyone figured out how to copy the chat yet? This isn't like Zoom where you can just click on file or whatever.
Good question.
I would just copy it and put it in a Word document and save it. I think that might be the easiest, right? Unless anyone else has suggestions.
It says save as a option, so maybe. I
Where
don't know.
where does it say save as?
I just right clicked on the chat column.
Okay. Oh, okay.
But I don't know if
Gotcha.
it's going to copy the last sentence or Edie just put up the Pathway to Independence website.
That's my email. I can do the website.
The event has often been done in Park Estates in Long Beach. Where is it going to be this year?
Well, that's a little up in the air. Our last one obviously was virtual and it was quite successful. So I think we're just going to see what our health department says and go from there. I haven't heard word yet if it will be an in-person or virtual yet.
Yeah, it's the way of the world for a while.
I know. Everything is so up in the air. But I know Long Beach numbers, we're doing very well. Just as of last weekend, everyone in 5 have been.
Now I'm not a moderator, so we can start. I just don't know if we have an audience.
Well, if we don't, then let's just Leanne, you were talking about taking your business virtually.
Oh, we have someone.
We have Tiffany. Hi, Tiffany. How are you?
Tiffany's here.
Yay! Tiffany, turn on your mic. Or should we do that?
What's that?
Tiffany, turn on your mic.
She's in the car, it looks like.
Okay.
So she
can listen, but I guess we can't hear her then.
Tiffany, you can always post in the chat room if you like, but there is a little microphone if you do want to just say hello really quick.
We would like to hear your voice.
She's trying. I read that. Oh,
We lost her.
see what I'm saying though? If there were more people, I think they would automatically come in to the video because it allows 9 people. But right now it's just showing that there's 4 out of the 9 spots available
Yep.
for face.
Okay.
So as far as I'm concerned, there's nobody on. And Bonnie's just hanging out talking to her parents. But yes, you were saying, Andi, until Tiffany comes back on, that yeah, I had to move my whole business virtually.
So have you benefited from it, or are you still in the process or because I discovered, and that was one of the things I wanted to say was from the first session, you know, that it's not something that is easy for me. I mean, I literally have to push myself every time I think about technology. But because I've embraced it, we have grown. And one of the things you said was there's no geographical limitations. We have clients that would not be our clients, but because of Zoom and we're doing it virtually, we have grown. I have clients. I have a client that gave us more than $1 million to invest, and I have yet to meet them in person. We have not met them in person. We met them through Zoom, but
Wow.
it was successful.
Wow.
We continue to meet through Zoom.
Yep.
And all of the other virtual opportunities. And it's been actually really a healthy growth. It's not the touchy-feely anymore, but it helps us just do our job.
100% agree with you. 100% agree with you. I've been able to meet so many people. Now my team is expanding more in other states because we can do the training on Zooms, where I was very limited geographically. I used to train my team at the Cadillac dealership in Costa Mesa off of Harbor Boulevard, Andi. Because I do drive a pink Cadillac with Mary Kay, so this is me pregnant with my son 5 years ago in front of my pink Cadillac, so it's all he knows. He came home in my pink Cadillac from the hospital. And so here's my funny joke: get your caddy, find your daddy. And that's exactly what I did. I met my husband the month I earned my Cadillac, and so we would meet. When I picked up my Cadillac, they said they had just redesigned the entire dealership and had this beautiful conference room upstairs, and it just made sense that that's where I would do training for my team. So I would tell new consultants, we meet at the Cadillac dealership upstairs in the conference room, and we would do makeovers and skincare classes there, and I would do training for my team, and it was beautiful. However, looking back, I couldn't get women driving from Los Angeles to Orange County for their beauty session. Where now we're sending out pink pampering packs.
Nice.
That's awesome.
And I'm just walking them through. All right, ladies, get your bowl of water and wash your face. And how does your skin feel? And now we can, never, ever, right? Ever in the history of Mary Kay Cosmetics for 57 years has there been, we've been through recessions and depressions, but never a pandemic, and never preventing us from being with people face to face, eye to eye, and hip to hip. So for us to have to pivot the whole entire community of Mary Kay directors and consultants onto the Zoom and figuring out how to continue to conduct skincare classes and teach skincare, thank goodness there's some brilliant brains, let me tell you. Bonnie is back. Bonnie, where have you been?
Bonnie, you're the estate planning attorney, right?
Parents came by, announced. And so I had some stuff that I had to show them. It's so nice to see you again. I'm back. Longer visit than I thought, but that's okay. Parents are important. So, yes. Hi, Andi. Oh my gosh. So, are we still in this session? No, people are leaving.
Okay, Andi and Lauren, would you like to explain?
So the session times got messed up. Are the other two pivoting in a virtual world sessions started later? People could only join ours, so they ended later.
That's why
and
yours was the only one.
now, so there's a second session going on, but it's just us girls. There's no one else here.
Gosh, oh my
So we're
gosh,
just hanging out, getting to know each other.
Oh, yay! Oh, how nice.
So,
Oh, that's
Bonnie,
funny.
you said that you're an estate planning attorney, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I would love to sit down and meet with you because I always need to have my estate planning attorney referral arsenal updated.
Oh my gosh.
Where are you located?
So I have my home office in Culver City, but I have it. I don't know. Is everyone in California on this
Yes.
thing? Or okay?
Well, no, Lauren's not.
I'm North Carolina.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I'm in Culver City, California. So in LA. And then I have clients all over California. I have a lot of clients in the Bay Area. I have clients in San Diego. I have clients in Orange County. So I've been doing it for 15 years. So I have a bunch of clients, and then I even have some clients in other states that have assets in California. So where are you, Andi?
I'm in Costa Mesa. I'm right by South Coast Plaza.
Yeah, I have clients there.
Yeah. So now that we do so much work virtually, having an attorney in Culver City is not a big deal. Whereas before, it was really important to have a client that was local.
It's true.
Now that we do so much more virtually, we do pretty much everything virtually now.
And the thing is even, and it is funny because even before, when we didn't have the pandemic and we weren't forced to do things virtually, most of the work that you do with an estate attorney is being done on phone and email anyways. You don't have to meet in person for the vast majority of the process. And so it's kind of funny that we sort of did restrict geographically in that sense. Because now it's funny because my clients say, oh, well, yeah, it doesn't even matter where you are because I said, well, it never did because I was just going to be emailing you anyways. I mean, I always show up for the signings because I am an anal type A attorney and I want to be there to make sure no signatures are missed. So I always see people anyways. But it's just funny that now it doesn't matter, and it kind of didn't matter before. But I understand people wanting to get together, be face to face, look each other in the eyes and all that. That's always the best. I mean, it's always the best if it's possible. And I used to go up to the Bay Area once or twice a month. So that's how I ended up getting a bunch of clients up there, and working with senior centers up there and stuff like that. So, but now even people who kind of, like I was talking about before, sort of do things the old fashioned way, like to do things. We have our phone calls, we don't have to get fancy about some of this stuff. Even they are now like, oh yeah, I don't mind that. I'm not going to, sit in the same room with you. And I go, well, great. Okay. But if you want to do this Zoom thing, I can teach you how to do it. We'll figure it out. But since I do, kind of my 9-to-5 job at the American Heart Association, I do estate planning because I love it. I do it in sort of my spare time, even though now, since I'm working from home, my schedule is incredibly flexible. So I can do both throughout the day, depending on how my meetings are and what else I have to do. And so it's been really, really nice to just have the flexibility to see folks. And so I work with people who I really want to work with because I'm not depending on estate planning for my bread and butter. So I don't just take every client that comes through my door. I really take people that I think we're going to work really well together because it certainly is a process and we might know each other for many, many years. And so I want us to like each other and work well together. And I don't charge for consultations. I probably end up making $18 an hour when all is said and done because I spend a lot of time with my clients and I really like to answer all their questions and explain everything. But I want people to understand what they're doing And so for me, it's not just kind of a trust mill where, okay, next number, next. No, it's, you know, I get to work with people that I really like, because it's just kind of extra for me. I needed an estate attorney when I was in my 20s, and when my grandpa died, and I thought I could do this if I could figure out how to do this. And so that's why I went to law school. So I know what it's like to be a client. I really get it. And I wanted to be the kind of estate attorney that I wish I had when I needed one. So,
And it sounds like you are, especially if you're willing to make $18 an hour after all said and done. It really does show that you have a passion for it, honestly.
you know what?
Honestly. But I'm just saying,
I
you know, it's time for a raise.
Right.
Bonnie.
I need a
I'm
raise.
just
Well,
not-
you know, I have a little staff. I have a paralegal dog who does make my dog. She makes 6 kibbles an hour. And then I have my mom who does all my filing for me and goes to the post office and kind of does those things I don't like to do. So it's me and my staff. So it's sort of nice, because then when people call, they just get me. That's it. You're not going to talk to a secretary or an associate or whatever, or a clerk. Here I am, and just, you know, we do flat fee, and people just call me whenever they want, and it's nice, you know. But if someone wants a, you know, kind of swanky attorney in Beverly Hills in a glass building, maybe I'm not the person for them. And I was one of those attorneys when I first started, so I get how that works too. But yeah, it's like,
By the way, I my apology for interrupting briefly.
No, please.
I've been texting Cheryl, and I'm like, what's the deal? So basically, she said the next one will be at 11:25. So
Okay.
I asked her to double check to make sure. And I'm wondering, Bonnie, well, you have the choice of if you want to stay in this one with us, or go somewhere else. That's fine too.
Thank you.
But now we're good and prepared for what we're presenting today, right, ladies? And I asked Cheryl to make sure that our session is showing up in the options when people are looking at the session.
Okay,
So she
good.
said
Yeah.
everything looks good. So my anticipation is at 11:25, we should have some participants.
Cool.
Good. Yay. I mean, I don't know. You know, I wanted to get into kind of one of the financial ones, to sort of hear
Yeah,
what
go.
they were
Yes.
talking about, since I do work with so many financial advisors, and
Of course. Of course.
that's always really, really nice. And I'm sorry that my parents, that's what happens when you live a mile away from your parents. Sometimes you just get a knock at
Bonnie,
your door.
do you want to type in like your email, your phone number, and share that with all of us?
Absolutely. Here is my email, and my phone number is, there you go. Yeah, I mean, please email me, call me anytime. I'm around. Who's going anywhere? I used to travel so much for my job, and now I don't travel at all. So it's fine. It's really nice to see you. I really loved the beginning of the session. I really liked everything that people were saying. It's so interesting to have to pivot with all of this these days, and I'm not a great technology person either. And I just kind of, now it's just sort of like, oh, I hit the wrong button. Oh, I can't hear somebody. Oh, you know, I mean, and everybody understands, because everybody's been there. So I feel like that's been kind of nice to give grace to each other through all of this, because it happens to all of us, even the people who are amazing with technology. It happens to them too, right?
Yep.
So,
yeah.
So, yeah, but it must be different. I don't do marketing, so it must be a whole different world, marketing wise, at a time like this.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. We're learning to adapt pretty quickly.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. I feel like everything goes so fast, because right when I finished learning Zoom at my job, then we got Microsoft Teams. And I'm sure that when I get good at Teams, we're going to get something else. Yeah. So I feel like there's always something new. And so it is really important to be flexible and adaptable with all this. And I look at my mom, who's been retired for a few years, and she's like, I don't want to do the computer, I'm afraid. And I'm kind of like, oh my gosh, you are so behind, which is why she does my filing and my letters and my mail, because I don't have enough hours in the day to begin to teach her about the computer, because she's starting from zero. And then
Wow.
the second you learn it, it changes. And the second you learn a new
Yep.
thing, it changes. And
Yeah.
so, yeah. I've never been on this. What is poppin'?
I've never been on it either. It's my first
Yeah.
time.
How's it going for you now, Andi? Is all well? I see you, I hear you.
So
Technology.
technology right now is working. I don't know what happened before, but apparently we were the only session that actually could meet. But in between all of that, my camera wouldn't work. And so who knows what happened. But anyway, Bonnie, I would love to sit down and talk with you. We actually refer a lot to estate planning attorneys because every client who comes in, one of the things we make sure they do is have an estate plan in order. And disclosure,
That's great.
my daughter works for a estate planning firm, but they
good.
but they only work with, actually their bread and butter are the clients who have beyond the exemption amount.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm definitely the other way.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and my clients are the other way. So they do, I mean, for them to do 50, $100 billion clients, that's their bread and butter clients.
Yeah, my clients are like kind of $1 million to maybe 12 million.
So my clients are under the $24 million, basically. So one to 20, I would say our clients.
I do feel like those folks do have trouble kind of finding quality estate attorneys sometimes, just because some people have limits as to how much someone's estate has to be worth before they'll work with them. And I just feel like, but I'm one of those people. And I don't have $12 million or $24 million. I don't want someone to turn me away. I need somebody. So yeah, I'm so happy to work with those folks. Absolutely. It's great. That's like the majority of us people, right?
I remember 20 years ago when the limit was $1 million, and he was happy with those clients. Not anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
They've grown to a point where,
I mean, some estate attorneys won't even work with people who don't need a trust, like because they don't have a house or whatever. And I mean, I understand, but I do that too. If someone just needs powers of attorney and a will, they need it. Okay, great. What am I going to do? Say you need this and I can do it for you, but I'm not going to do it because you're not going to generate me a big fee? No, I mean, of course I'll help somebody.
Yeah, so especially nowadays with COVID, the biggest thing I make sure is my clients have medical powers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's been huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting because people like me in both of my jobs, charitable estate planning and estate planning, business is booming, and because it's on people's minds.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's on people's minds, for better or worse. It's on people's minds. So.
And one of my other loves and passion is charitable giving. I have designation. I'm chartered advisor in philanthropy, and I sit on the board of the advisors in philanthropy.
I love that.
Yeah, and maybe you should. Yeah, so that's why we should talk. We don't have anybody else, so we can talk now. But
let's definitely
we want to talk.
Together.
Lauren and I want to talk because we want to talk about speaking.
Yes,
which is both of our passions. We like the money. We like money. Don't get us wrong, right, Lauren? I'm just kidding. I'm like, okay, where are the people?
I know.
So yeah, Bonnie, check out Advisors in Philanthropy.
Oh yes, I know about this.
You know about us then.
Oh yeah. I used to be on the board for the Partnership for Philanthropic Planning of Greater Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
So plugged into, yeah. Andi, Do I have your contact information
Sure.
through?
I'll
Oh, yay.
Part of me wants to leave and come back, but
Don't
then
leave.
I'm kind of scared.
Uh,
Well, I'm just like, where are the people? This is our last session. I mean,
Interesting. Oh, thank you, Andi. This is great. Oh, great. Oh, yay. Okay. Crown. Okay.
oh,
Ah,
yay.
someone's here.
Hey, welcome, Kay.
Awesome.
If you are here and you are one of the 5 people, will you please introduce yourself in the chat, as it is 11:25, where our number 3 session for our breakout rooms are to begin. Kay, we welcome you. We would love to have you join our panel because we can fit 9 people in our visual panel. And all you have to do is click share video, and that should pop you in here.
If I
Yay!
if I pop off for a second, can I come back on?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, you can come back on.
Okay. I'm going to be right back. Okay.
Welcome, Kay. I'm glad
Thank you.
you were able to find us. Did you just leave a panel and join this one?
I was on break and then on the financial literacy, and then I said, okay, let me find the pivot one, and I saw you, and here I am.
Well, we're really glad that you found us.
But I see that there's 5 other people on here. But anyway, I'm here.
Well, we're going to start. And my name is Leanne, and I'm the moderator. And we have 2 panelists today that have some incredible tips and tricks and pivots to share with us. I'd like to introduce Lauren Beane. She's an experienced digital marketer. She believes in the power of a good story, and all of that starts with social media. After working years in marketing for a large corporation, she has learned the ins and the outs of effective social media and creating that social media profile. Combining that with her passion for professional development, she is on a mission to empower others to tell their compelling story through their profiles. Andi is a wealth manager. She specializes in working with business owners, philanthropies, and special needs families to make informed decisions about their wealth. She's passionate about being a trusted advisor to her clients. It is her heart's desire to walk alongside them while they work to discover the true meaning of wealth, while they share the fruits of their abundance with their family, their neighbors, and their community. Give it up for Andi and Lauren. Yay! So, Lauren, why don't we start with you and share with us what you had in mind for our session today.
Yeah, sounds good. It's nice to meet you, Kay. Thanks for joining us. So one of the things I'm most passionate about is really just helping people own their own brands on social media. And this past year really emphasized that need to be on social media, but also to have a really sound brand. When we were taken away from being able to visit people in person and go to companies and businesses and check them out, people rely on social to figure out who you are and what you're all about. So what I help people do is, whether they're Googling you, and depending on which profile they look at, whether it's on LinkedIn and maybe they're considering hiring you, maybe they're wanting to purchase from your business on Instagram. My goal is to really help people, whatever channel that people are finding you on, making sure that the brand that you portray is true to who you actually are, and that it says a lot about you and what your company might be. So one of my favorite quotes is by Jeff Bezos, who said, "Your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room." So when people look me up on social media, I want them to see that I am passionate about helping other people grow their brands. I want them to see that I love my husband and my dog and love being outdoors. So depending on where people find me, that's kind of what I want people to figure out about me. And so one thing that I really help people do, and an exercise that I encourage them to go through is just to think about, like, what do you want to be known for? And I think before you go to create social media profiles or maybe amp up your presence on there, it's important to really just take time and take pen to paper and think about, what do you actually want to be known for? And figuring out your personal goals, your professional goals. When people are looking at you, what qualities do you want them to see about you? What things do they want to know you're passionate about? And what's your end goal? Maybe it's you want them to purchase from your business or hire you, or maybe you want them to just know about who you are and your family in general. So I encourage people to really just think about that first before you even go create a profile on social, because that really shapes about what you're actually putting out there. And then once you actually start building out your profiles, one thing that I love to tell people to do, because it can be really overwhelming of figuring out which profiles am I supposed to be on, and then what do I actually do? It's time consuming. And let's be honest, I don't have that much time to spend a lot of time each day building out my profiles in each of these different channels. Not to mention, there's a new social media channel popping up every 5 minutes, it feels like. So one thing that I encourage people to do is I call it the 10-minute rule. And basically that means in the mornings, I usually do this when I'm having my coffee before I even open my emails, is take 10 minutes. So I bucket it into 4 minutes, 4 minutes, and 2 minutes. So the first 4 minutes, you respond to any new connection requests. It could be on Instagram, it could be on LinkedIn, messages that you've received, comments that you've received, just responding to those and engaging so that it's a two-way dialogue instead of just people talking to you. The second 4 minutes would be liking, retweeting, sharing content that you feel is interesting, relevant to you, and that you want included on your page. So this could be a really cool article you came across. It could be an awesome motivational quote that you see on Instagram. Taking 4 minutes to pick and choose what you reshare. And then the last 2 minutes would be sharing and adding a comment to someone else's content. So, hey, Catherine. So adding some love to their content as well, sharing their pieces, adding a comment, sharing an article with your own viewpoint. So quick, easy 10 minutes that I do every morning. And it really helps build up your presence in a really quick, easy way. So that's my little spiel. I'd love to hear from Andi, and then we can kind of kick it off to questions and open dialogue.
Catherine, you're back. It's great to see you. So, Catherine, turn on your mic because I do want to ask you a question. You came back.
Yes.
I wanted to know why you came back so that you can address specifically what you're looking for. And then when Kate comes
Honestly,
back,
I want to avoid the financial literacy group. So I decided to come back here because I like these topics. So
We aren't financial literacy, right? We're the virtual world.
that's exactly what I want. I want to avoid financial literacy.
So,
well, I think what Andi's asking is, what would you like to leave with today after our session is over? Right? Is that right?
I really am trying to monetize 2 businesses at the moment, and it's very difficult. I would really like to know, where do I get the correct information to get started on everything? I need help with business plans and mission statements and trademarking, everything, the whole slew.
May I ask, Catherine, what are the challenges you have?
okay, but
One,
Catherine, a lot of what you're talking about is financial, a little bit of legal and business literacy. And I've worked in all of those areas. So we could talk maybe offline if you want some help. Because one of the areas that I was the pro bono and community service um, chairman for all of the Financial Planning Association. When I was the chair, we had 100 chapters. So I can help you in a little bit in each of these topics. I wouldn't consider myself an expert, but I know a little bit enough to help you with all of that, because we need to get more specific of who you are, what kind of businesses, what kind of trademarking, business plan, and all of that. So what about you, Kay? What specifically would you like us to discuss in our topic today of pivoting in a virtual world?
Well, I like what Lauren, because I've been in business for 15 years. I have a safari company that I own. And
what company?
A safari in Africa. Safari.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I wanted to make sure we heard that right, Kay. I was like, did I hear safari?
You did.
Yes, I heard safari.
So, and I have a presence on social media, but it is time consuming, and I just would like to know. I'd like to know from Lauren, like, what is the one place that I really need to concentrate my efforts?
Great.
I mean, I have all of them. I have all the social media, and then from Andi, I'm not wealthy, and you know, I don't know if I'll ever be wealthy with the business, but you know, I'm happy. I'm very content with what I'm doing. I enjoy it. I love it, and so that's all I really need.
Okay.
So that's where I am.
Lauren, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I can jump in. So I would love to know a little bit more about your company, because from the get-go, hearing from it, it sounds like a very visual company where Instagram and Facebook would probably be the best. But can you tell me a little bit more about what you guys do?
So it's my company, and basically I put together groups and lead them on safaris. So I'm actually marketing the trip. You know, it's a lot of visual. You know, people want to know where you're staying, what you're going to eat, all of that. So it's a lot of visual, a lot of posting, but with articles as well about different things in Africa, what you might see, or something that you don't know about Africa. So I'm just trying to entice people to actually look beyond, number one, a price, and number two, Africa. You know, look at the experience that you will have, that is, for what most people say, life changing, and don't make, you know, oh, it's $5,000. Oh, that's too much money, you know, because I know people pay $5,000
Yep.
for Hawaii, you know.
Yeah.
So it's really about the experience.
And a follow-up question, I'm sure it has, but what have been some of the biggest challenges that you guys have faced with COVID and with the safaris?
Well, COVID has set us back. I haven't been on safari since November 2019. I had 9 safaris planned for 2020, and so all of them have been postponed starting from November to all the way into 2022. So it's actually set us back a lot. I actually went in November of 2020 just to how the landscape was, and to make sure that I would feel comfortable taking my group.
Yeah.
So, but it has sidelined us. Yes.
Yeah. Well, so my initial thoughts, I think right now, and I'm experiencing this too, is I need a trip. Like, I am just looking at pictures online of dreaming about when I can travel again and where I'm going to go. And I think the best thing that you can do for your company is really hone in on Instagram and paint that whole experience. So right now, kind of play into, people are wanting to travel right now, but maybe can't right now. So kind of create an experience from home for them of showing them. I don't know if you have video footage or maybe
virtual. I do virtual safaris.
That's awesome. I was going to suggest that, like, something people can do from home to feel like they're there would be incredible. And then another couple things that you could leverage on Instagram that are really engaging is doing live videos. So whether it's going live for 10, 15 minutes of giving people just a little taste of what they could experience in person. Maybe it's a Q&A with somebody that leads the safari and kind of talking through what they might see and experience. And then just the more visual content that you can create, the better. So Instagram has a lot of really cool new features right now where you can, on their stories feature, people can ask questions. So you can do like a Q&A takeover, anything to kind of help make people feel like they're there, even if they're from home. And then also as people are starting to plan their trips, they're going to have it on the front of their minds of saying, hey, that's really cool. And I want to see that in person. Like, this is cool on my screen, but I want to go there and actually experience it. So really just figure out how you can create that full experience. And I don't know if you have a social media manager, but Canva is a really awesome free tool.
Yes,
I love using Canva. I mean, their templates are so easy to use and just quick and easy. So that's like and I think just recently too, they added where you can even schedule content in their platform. So you can create a month's worth of content, schedule it out, and then forget about it until April, which is pretty cool. So
I'm exploring that right now.
I love it. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Great. I'm doing all of those things.
Excellent. That was
need to expand.
Yeah, I love it though. That sounds so cool.
What do you think, Lauren, about for Kay? What if she did an event through Zoom to give people an opportunity to ask questions about the safari? What if she created an event that said, interested in a safari, have questions about it, join me this day for 30 minutes, pop on, here's the link, DM me for the link or whatever, so that maybe they want to connect with Kay personally. Yep. Maybe they just want to ask questions. I feel like there's those people, like if I was interested, I'd be like, who's this Kay lady? I want to talk to her. I want to meet her. Yep. She's the one that, I would want to be able to ask those types of things. I just thought, in addition, what do you think about that?
I love that. I think you could do it a couple different ways. You could do like kind of a webinar type style where it's a Zoom call and it's people need to sign up and add it to their calendars. And then you get more of that face-to-face casual interaction. You could also do a Facebook Live where you can have several different people watching and you won't be able to see their face and see them actually ask the question, but they can type questions into the chat and ask them there. That would be a really cool way of kind of just, when it comes to lives, you don't really necessarily need to plan out a full hour-long event. It can be a quick 15 minutes where you go on at 9 a.m. every Friday and say, hey guys, I'm going to be on here on Facebook Live. Bring me your questions and I'll answer them for you. That's a really great way to just show the human behind the company and show your passions and just kind of be there to help people as they're figuring out their vacations.
Right. I need to do more of that. I did do an event last week and I put myself online on Zoom, but then I didn't really get anybody. So I think it's a matter of getting out to the audience, the right audience,
Yeah. Well, sorry. I was going to say too, the cool thing about Facebook Live is sometimes, people just can't join at the time that you have it scheduled. They can always go back and watch the recording and ask questions later on. So that's a good way to kind of grab people. And I would look, Facebook has really boosted up their algorithms lately of their Facebook groups. So find groups, whether it's mom groups where they're chatting to each other, asking about places to plan a vacation. And maybe they don't want to go to Disney World for the 17th time. Trying to find those like niche groups on Facebook where you can join that group and punch in there and say, hey, I'm going to be live talking about safaris. Join me for this chat. And that's a really good way to pull people in.
That's brilliant, Lauren Beane. You're brilliant.
Thank you.
And she's only 26. She's just like the perfect person to be talking to us about strategies in connecting and creating our profile and especially our brands. Those are brilliant. I'm like, I loved everything you said, but I'm like, I want to talk to you outside of this. So would you mind sharing your email?
I'll put it in the
your
chat.
Contact information, because I'm pretty sure Kay's like, I want to know more too. You know, you gave us a lot of like breadth, but for someone that maybe doesn't know how to navigate step 1, 2, 3.
Yep, I can definitely help you guys do a little bit deeper dive, and this is pretty high level, but it's fun to talk about.
Well, and I was thinking, Kay, when you are posting your things on social media, when people like it, can't she use that too as a way to connect with them and say, hey, I saw you liked my post. Have you been thinking about taking a safari? I thought I'd reach out.
Yep.
You know, I mean, that's like you're looking at who is liking your content, because you are very specific on what you provide.
Right.
So if they're liking your content, they're probably either been on a safari or want to go on one.
Yep, exactly.
Thank you. I know Catherine is chomping at the bit to talk, so I'm going to just back off for a minute. Catherine.
So I have two groups. One is Grow with the Walk, which is peer-to-peer support group for people with panic and anxiety attacks. I'm trying to monetize that one. And the second one is Tech Apart, which is a robotics and online robotics and tech group on Facebook groups. And I'm trying to figure out how I can monetize that as well. With Tech Apart, one of the tools that I'm planning to utilize is their mentorship. They have a mentorship button in the group section, and so I clicked on that. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that. And one of the ways I want to use it is to bring tech to a more mature audience and older generation, because you have so many robotics groups for use, and they don't think to use those same platforms for older adults. And there's a lot of older adults who come to me to ask me to tutor them in basic computer use, or how to use their phone. They've got to start somewhere, you know? So trying to figure out, how do I monetize?
Yeah, I love that. I think from the Facebook group perspective, similar to what I was saying to Kay, but when I was starting my business, I was always hesitant to pay my product for free, but you can give people a little taste of what they could experience. So maybe you do a short video of like a mini demo, if you will, about helping people utilize their tech. And then that way they can work with you one-on-one consultation type style if they want to do that deeper dive. But video content is great because from the Facebook side, they're more likely to show the content to the right people. But from your side too, it kind of just lets people see and feel what they could actually be experiencing by working with you.
Okay. So like a mini commercial.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And I never really thought this way, but this past year especially, it doesn't need to be polished. What I've found is sometimes people just holding their phones recording something does better than if you spent tons of money on an agency to produce a video for you. It doesn't need to be polished as long as you're getting the information across that people need to see and hear. That's all that matters.
Okay.
So
I like that.
one of the things we talked about before was getting a business plan together. And as I said earlier, technology is not my strong suit, but it's something that I use constantly because of my work. But as a financial planner, I think you need to think about what that business plan is going to look like and when you're going to start breaking even. All of those literacy vocabulary. Um, when are you going to be able to start generating income? After that 10-minute commercial, what are the other things that teach those mature audiences? Do you want to do it individually, or do you want to do it with a virtual platform